Hey, y'all, Elise Smith here, and welcome to the Socially Ausome Podcast, where we empower mompreneurs to implement simple social media strategies into their businesses and elevate their online presence. I'm a mompreneur of three, an affiliate marketer, a network marketer, an influencer, a social media marketing agency owner, and your personal guru. I am here to give you tips, tricks, and tools that you need to build your social media business. Let's dive in. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Socially Ausome Podcast. Elise Smith here. I'm your host. So excited. Today we're talking about 3 popular content hacks that are more hype than help, okay? And we need to get real about social media. We need to get real about branding and everything you need to know to make your business stand out. And I'm going to bust some myths for you today, okay? Because there's a lot of garbage on your social media feed. And as someone who's been doing this for 2 years, I've kind of sifted and sorted through it for you. So let's dive right in. I'm ready to just talk about this. Some of this you might agree with, some of you might not agree with this, but there's no shortage of advice out there when it comes to content creation. And some of it's great, some of it, well, it's a flash of just junk. And here are 3 popular content hacks that I see out there all the time that just don't live up to the hype. So number 1, posting multiple times a day. Now, you may be listening to this and going, Elise, you have told me before in your TikTok trainings to post 3 times a day. All right. So like this episode, there is no one size fits all. So I'm going to back up for a second. If you've ever heard me tell you to post multiple times per day, part of the reason I do that is because when you're first getting started in content creation and you're first getting started in business, you have to learn to build that muscle. You have to learn what type of content your audience wants to hear. You got to learn how to create content that actually converts. You got to learn how to be catchy. You got to learn how to be entertaining. So yes, a lot of my trainings have told you to post multiple times per day. And I still feel that way. I still agree with that. I think it's really important in your first probably 6 months of your business to practice that muscle over and over and over. But once you've gotten your ideal client nailed down, your messaging nailed down, your branding nailed down, it's not necessarily important for you to bombard your audience with too much content, okay? And I want to talk this through because I still post multiple times per day, ultimately, on several of my social media platforms. But I do that because I have an abundance of content that I've created over 2 years. And if you know anything about me, you know that I constantly talk about my rinse and repeat content system. So I have a ton of content that I could put out into the world, and it doesn't take more effort from me. But the problem with a lot of people posting multiple times per day is that you burn out. You burn out very quickly. And not just you, but for your followers, right? So one of the struggles with posting too many times per day is you feel like you run out of ideas. And then you start posting different ideas, which is leading to confusion with your audience. Quality always will trump quantity every single time. And if your strategy is, I'm going to post 3 times per day, doesn't matter what it is, then that is a no-no, okay? If you're focusing on posting as much as possible, you're likely sacrificing the quality and the value of your content. So if you're in your first 6 months of your business, I still will tell you to post multiple times per day so that you can really get your branding and your messaging nailed down. But once you're past that point and you feel super clear on what you do, who your offer's for, and what you offer and what solution you provide, I want you to focus more on consistency and quality. It's better to post valuable content 1 time per day than to overwhelm your audience with mediocre posts multiple times per day. Mediocre posts, in my opinion, are going to be fluffy posts. They're surface level, basically just positioned you like Google, right? So we want you to plan your content carefully and make sure it provides value and it engages with your audience in a meaningful way, but it also showcases why you're different. Because if they don't know what makes you different, what makes you unique, why your offer is not the same as everyone else, then you are basically just blending in. So if you're at that point in your business where you're feeling like you're on the content hamster wheel, you're burnt out, you're exhausted, I want you to go back to the drawing board because ultimately 80% of your content should be done in the planning phase. And so if you're in that constant creation mode and you're never planning your content, you more likely are just putting out their mediocre content. And it's time to go back and build yourself an actual content system. And I do this in my programs with my students. In my social success club, I really focus on
getting super clear on your ideal client, your branding, your messaging. And then in my Social Success Academy, we really focus on how do we rinse and repeat that system to grow and scale. And this is kind of where you need to really have a come to Jesus with yourself of, is my content the best work I could put out there? And if it's not, is it because I'm burnt out? Is it because I don't really know my offer? Or is it because I don't really understand my ideal client? And if it's one of those things, you really need to dig into those in order to put out successful content that is going to convert to a sale. Now, the second thing is clickbaity headlines. I hate and I did this, okay? I must give you full transparency. I used to be clickbaity. I used to use clickbaity headlines because that's what I was told to do, right? That's what I was told. But at this point, it just gravels me, something inside me. But I don't like the work 1 to 2 hours a day from Wi-Fi type things, right? Clickbaity headlines might get you a lot of clicks, but they can damage your brand in the long run, because what's going to happen is you're going to bring in new people, probably a lot. And then when they realize it's a whole lot more work than that, they're going to be frustrated, right? When your audience feels misled by sensationalized titles that don't deliver on their promises, you lose trust and you lose credibility. And trust is hard to rebuild once it's broken. Building that loyal audience is more important than bringing in thousands and thousands of people with clickbaity headlines. So I want you to really focus on creating honest, compelling headlines that show the transformation you can provide and that accurately reflect your content. They focus on delivering value, building a reputation of providing reliable and helpful information. Your audience will appreciate the honesty and be more likely to stick around to you over time. And then the third thing is following every single trend. Now, trends can help astronomically grow your business if you know how to use them to your advantage. But jumping on every trend just to say this was a trend and I need to use it, if it doesn't align with your brand values or resonate with your target audience, you're basically making content that feels inauthentic and it's a scattershot. It's not going to help you, okay? So I want you to be selective about the trends that you participate in. I want you to choose those that align with your brand, that speak to your audience, and it's better to be authentic and consistent than it is to be everything to everyone. So stick to what makes your brand unique and build your strategy around that. That's more important than just blending in with a trend, okay? So now that we've debunked kind of these hacks, I want to talk about what you should focus on instead. So as always, understanding your audience, getting to know your audience inside and out. What are their pain points? What kind of content do they find valuable? And tailor your strategy to meet their needs. This is exactly what I help you with inside the club. So if you need more assistance on this, feel free to DM me the word club on IG. Let's chat about it. But this builds loyal and engaged community around your brand. And that's what's going to help you with those consistent cash months, okay? Number 2, providing consistent value. Being consistent in your messaging and your branding. Don't show up one day with a clickbaity headline and the next day with, a true, authentic storytelling headline, because people are going to get mixed signals from you. We want you to have consistent value, but also consistent branding. And then engaging authentically. So responding to comments, asking questions, really building that sense of community, and building that trust and that loyalty with your audience, rather than just throwing out some emojis or some just vague engagement so that you can check it off your list that you engage 15 minutes per day. You need to really be raw and authentic with your audience to build that trust. So the world of content creation is full of shiny, tempting hacks and quick result promises. And I want you to remember, building a successful brand takes time, consistency, and focusing on that genuine value. So I don't want you to get distracted by the hype. Stick to the strategies that build trust, provide value, and resonate with your audience. So as always, I hope you got insight that's helpful. I hope this inspires you to focus on what truly matters in your content strategy and to really block out that noise and that garbage that fills your feed. If you enjoyed this episode, as always, I would love for you to leave the podcast a review, subscribe so you never miss an episode. Leaving a review is my love language. I want you to screenshot this, that you're listening, throw it in your stories, tag me at socially.awesome on IG. It helps me understand that you are really focused on growing your business and helps me keep putting out more episodes for you. And as always, make sure you check the show notes. We have tons of resources in there that help you grow your business online. And until next time, make it simple, make it social, and make it awesome.